Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin. And Doug, what is the weirdest thing that you've ever done in the name of self-care?
I don't know. I mean, I do real basic stuff. Like I don't do anything super weird. I'll tell you what I didn't do. You know what? This will be my answer. Yesterday I ate a lot of chips.
Okay.
Way more than I have. It was similar to when you and I would buy a tub of French onion dip.
Those were legendary times.
Sit down with a bag of chips and we're like, we go until one or both of these things are gone. And I was like, there's like, I don't know, a quarter of this bag of chips from Costco left. Like,
yeah,
you know, they're going to go bad probably. So I'll just have a few.
Yeah.
And then I kept eating them and I was like, fuck it. It's spring break. Let's just enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
And I ate the whole bag. And I was like, this was fun. I felt like ass the rest of the day. I felt so gross. I felt so disgusting. And I was like, I ate like this all the time.
Yeah.
I used to do this all the time. I was like, I feel so awful. My stomach feels like this horrible pit. I was supposed to make chicken Parmesan. And I was like, I don't think I can do that. That sounds awful. I have no energy. I feel like just absolute dog shit. But hey, you know what? I was like, I haven't done this in a while. This will be fun. I'll do this. I guess we can call that self-care. I don't know. But I did it. And
that's a big, very open to interpretation answer about self-care.
I look at it as like, hey, I haven't done this in a while. Let's see if let's have some fun. Let's just
maybe
relax.
mental health care. Yeah,
sure. You know,
what the big question that we're all dying to know. We've been getting calls since you started this story about this. What kind of chips were they?
They were pink Himalayan salt kettle chips from Costco.
I have had those actually, and they are
delicious.
Legitimately tasty. Yum yum.
Fucking delicious.
They're very good. Yeah,
they are goddamn.
I can
amazing.
see it. Now, did you eat them dry or did you have some sort of dippy with them?
Just had them dry.
Okay,
I haven't bought dip in a while, so I don't have. At least that's why I'm like, at least I didn't have dip.
You're right. You justified it with it was a healthy choice.
Because you know when things are going bad is when your poop changes color. That's when you know you're in trouble.
Tell me more.
I was like, don't look at me confused.
Tell me more.
Don't act out. Everyone who's listening or watching, like, you know what I'm talking about. You eat half of a bag of black licorice jelly beans because Easter's a month and a half away.
First off,
you go to
devil flavor. Go ahead.
You know what? I accept that. That's fine. I'm one of the weirdos that likes that. But like, you know, you go to poop the next day and your poop's green. You're like, well, that's my body telling me like, I don't know how to process this. And whatever you put in me is not good. So maybe you should change it up, buddy. I'm like, understood. But I have to eat the other half a bag before I can finally quit. So we'll be doing this again tomorrow.
Look, fiscally speaking, I have to finish this. So it's irresponsible if I don't.
And physically speaking, I have to do it because challenge, you know?
Because a conqueror never backs down from a challenge.
I don't back down from a bag of black licorice Brock's jelly beans. Bitch.
This is a gross question, and I apologize.
Justin, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast, Justin. What do you got for me?
I usually like to try to steer away from these, but I have to dive right into this one, which is a very gross image. But when you say, you know, your poop changes color, are you peeking in the bowl to see what you're working with, or how are you analyzing what's coming out?
I am concerned that you're asking me this question because how would you not know if your poop has changed color, Justin?
I answer mine first.
Well, I mean, I wipe my ass for starters, you know,
and so you gotta check how.
Well, when you're wiping, you're like, well, how much did I get, right? Because if you come back and most of it's not there, like, cool, I guess I've done a good job.
What progress?
If you come back, you're like, wow, there's a thick mass there. Like, we're gonna be doing this for a while. You obviously see what's there, and when you're done, you gotta turn around and flush the toilet. So you obviously look and see what's there. So you know,
it's interesting. So I typically flush without looking in.
Yeah,
I tend to
take that concentrated evil out of my house.
It's just a blind flush. I'd rather not know what came out of me.
You're like, if I don't look at it, it wasn't there.
It didn't happen. I'm not a sinner.
That's what Uncle Ben always told me. If I don't look at you, you're not there, you little piece of shit. Like, okay.
I did hear a really great, that someone did a song about the frictionless wipe and like how if you have a frictionless wipe, you're going to be there all night. Like it's those are the ones you're just like, oh, I didn't feel friction. Shit. My ass just turned into a magic marker and I'm on this toilet until my legs fall asleep.
Those are the worst ones, hands down. We're just absolutely. I feel like I'm wasting resources here. Like at this point, let's just go hop in the shower and take care of this because what are we doing? Like,
to take it back to a episode from a couple weeks ago, the bidet is what I'm understanding.
That's where the bidet comes in, man. You're just like, let's turn on the fire hose. Let's get this taken care of.
Let's get it going. Yeah.
You know?
Squirt a little water up there.
Let's turn up to lava mode and let's get this taken care of, you know? Hot lava, you know?
Yeah.
When I wipe and I come back, I'm like, ooh, that's more green colored than I'd want it to be. That's not good. That's happened a couple of times. One, Jill and I both drank a lot of, like, at one point, like, we're drinking like a lot of Gatorade. I think it was purple Gatorade. Yeah, we're drinking like a lot of them. And then she's just like, is your poop green? I go, it is. Is yours? She goes, yeah. I go, I think it's the Gatorade. And we're both like, we should probably not do that.
So now I want to run a test because you specify that it's purple. Do you believe that the purple turned it green?
Yeah, I think.
Do you believe that there's a correlation, like a color theory? I think the
dyes have an effect on that. Yeah.
So like
licorice makes sense to me. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if you drank a lot of like yellow Gatorade, do you think it would turn it a different color?
Maybe a different shade of green. But
so you just think it's gonna be in the family.
The only shades of colors I've had are like a red, which I'm like, well, okay, that's definitely something that I haven't had a lot of those. When I was younger, I had some red ones.
Now, we talking like auburn or like red, where you're like,
we're not talking like flaming hot chilies, but like the tint of this is more red than I wanted, like a mahogany. You know, like that's not good. You know, and I've had green, which I've had also eating a lot of sheet cake with a lot of colors in them. Like, you know, bright colors and things like that. It's like my body's like, cool. We're gonna process the best way we can, and then some Gatorade. Greens.
I'm thinking it's just sugar, man. I think sugar.
I think you're right. I think you're right. There's some sugar content.
Like if we draw a through line, you know, through all these things, I can't believe that this is what we've come to. This is where we are now,
dude. It's episode 485. What are you talking about? This is who we are.
It took us
exploring the madness that is the human condition.
That is the human body. So for those listening, we have spent 485 episodes really diving into the human body. And so we are just
the human condition. Living our truth, Justin.
That's what you've been doing? I've been doing the human body.
Yeah. See, what I also do is doing no but is part of this game, which is, you know, telling you no, but this is what we're doing instead. That's really what we're all about. Justin, what's the weirdest thing you've ever done in the name of self-care?
It wasn't self-care necessarily.
This is a jerk off thing, isn't it?
It was.
Whacking it. Beating that, just beefing it, you know?
And then my dad walked in. It wasn't.
And he was like, you can do it. You can do it.
Stradlin's never quit.
You finished that nut, boy.
It wasn't necessarily for self-care, but one time, and I don't remember why, it was in my 20s somewhere, but I was like, what would it look like if I shaved my chest?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm like,
we're just avoiding the question altogether. Like, we don't give a shit about self-care. Here's something weird that happened to me.
Here's something weird that I did. Yeah, because the thing is, I don't know what I did weird in self-care. I don't know. I
spent 8 hours playing video games. I don't know. Right. Like, I don't.
I genuinely, I think it's neither of us have really dove into like true like crazy self-care routines. So there's no good answer. So let's just. Here's something that happened to my body.
Here's something I did to my own body. I shaved my chest.
But have you ever shaved, when you shave your beard, a lot of guys have this. For those who don't know, a lot of guys have beards because we don't have jaw lines, right? It's just like a flesh ramp from your neck up to your chin, right? And it's just kind of there. Giving a beard gives you the illusion of a jawline.
JD Vance knows this very well.
Very well, exactly. Yes. Yeah, and really, the beard is failing him. It's still not giving him a jawline.
A lot of things are failing him.
A lot of things are failing JD Vance.
Yeah.
But I did one swipe down, and I went, it's probably gonna be a mistake, but I've committed. So I did the whole thing, belly, the whole front, and when I was done, boy, was I sad. It was. Oh boy, did not look good, Doug. Like again, I'm not an overly fit individual. Like I don't have abs or anything. When I was younger, I probably should have worn a support garment in that realm. But having the hair on there gave some like weird like semblance of an optical illusion of definition. When that was gone, my armor was off, man. I had no protection. I looked like if you made like a baby seal out of like Pillsbury dough. Like it was gross. It was kind of slick, but also like doughy. It was ugh.
I would never do that because I wouldn't know when I could stop. Because I am so fucking hairy. I'd have to be like, well, what am I gonna do? Just stop like right here at the top of my shoulders? Like, what am I like? I have so much hair on my body that I'm just like,
yeah. For me, it doesn't. I don't have the shoulder strap. It doesn't wrap around. Like I got some that starts lower back, and then I got some in the front. But I do have an ending point up here. Going down, there is no ending point though, so it did look really. I just chose the belt line. I'm like, that's where we're stopping.
Well, I mean, that's probably where I would, but I'm just like, it would take me fucking forever to do. Like,
I know
and then coming back in, I'm like, great, welcome to the sandpaper stage.
It's so bad. It's so bad, and also like there was like I had little like blood spots and places I nicked myself all over. So it was a horrendous experiment gone totally wrong from the beginning.
Yeah. I don't. And then, like, what we'll do about my belly button? My belly button's just a cavernous thing that's just like, how am I going to get all the hair?
Well, that's where you got to pull out one of those ear trimmer attachments, and you just got to get in there, just dig it out. Yeah,
dude, I'd be slicing myself up left and right, man. That'd be ugh. No,
maybe for the 500th episode. No, maybe that's something we tack on.
500. Nope.
600.
No, sure, fine. 1,000.
Let's just put it out there.
Yeah, let's put it out there. 1,000. It reminds me of like today. Natalie was watching this show about volcanoes, like volcanoes that erupted, and there was one that happened in 2018, I think, in Guatemala.
Okay,
and like so many people, like there was some like rumblings and stuff that happened for a couple days before things went supernova, and people were just like getting really close to this thing and like, oh, we gotta get footage of this and whatever, and then the thing fucking erupted, but not like full on lava. It let out, I forget what they called it. It was a scientific sort of term. It was a type of toxic gas that's also like insanely hot. It just went, it was going like hundreds of miles an hour, like down the road. And there was a guy who was there with some people, and they were recording themselves doing this. So like, get in the fucking truck. They got in the truck, and they said, we're going 100 kilometers an hour. And it showed them like driving. They're looking out their back. This thing looked like a movie. This thing was just like barreling down the road. There was someone that was running, caught up, they're dead, gone, like absolutely
they
dead.
Showed that?
They showed like this guy was like running on the side of the road, and like the cloud just enveloped him, and they're like, they called it out, they're like, that guy's dead. Like,
so it's a cloud. This cloud is just a cloud of hot gas that's coming out.
It's poison, it's ash, but it's also insanely hot. And so like basically like this is what happened to Pompeii. Like the stuff exploded and it's just like you're gone. Wow. And this made me think of just like, what are you doing? Like, why do you need to go and see this? Like, why are we on the point? I'm like, you know what? Let's get a little bit closer and see what happens. I need to get closer to this danger. I'm like, no, you don't.
Oh, so you're saying like with the rumblings happening, they're like, ooh, let's get in there and really take a look at it. Oh, wow,
look at this. This is a volcano, man. I was like, why? Why do you need to go there? Like, what's the fucking point?
Like if I was somewhere and I heard that like there was rumblings and they're like, well, the volcano is likely going to erupt. Suitcases getting packed.
Or if like, we don't know, but there's a volcano that's over here. Like, cool, I don't need to be here. Like,
I'm checking
we
out.
should probably go.
Yep. Yep.
Like, they also showed Mount St. Helens, which, you always hear about. That one was insane.
Okay.
So that thing was rumbling for several days, and it created a bulge. Am I right? On the side of this mountain, it was expanding 5 feet every day because of all the magma that was building up in it. So it was just like slowly expanding to the side. And then when it erupted, because it had been expanding, it weakened. Instead of going up, it went out. Like that entire side of the mountain crumbled.
Holy shit.
And then it shot out to the side and just that's why it was so devastating, because it annihilated everything around it.
Wow.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Nuts, dude.
And then Natalie explained to me why she would rather deal with a tornado than a volcano. I'm like, I'm all ears.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yes. My God. The funny thing is you just don't like, you learn about volcanoes in grade school, but you don't hear much about volcanoes in adult life, I feel like. And like, I really think they don't get their due for like how impressive and just awe-inspiring they are.
Well, also we're in middle America. You know, there's no fucking volcanoes around here. It's that part of like our regular sort of culture, you know, like we don't deal with that sort of stuff. So yeah, when you see on TV, you're
just
like,
a chocolate lava cake at Chili's.
Hell yeah, baby. Woo woo. You know, the endless chocolate fountain at Golden Corral. You know, just
which sounds like a pee and poop joke, but yeah.
Hey, listen, they're one and the same. Okay, like you have that, and then you get pee and poop. You know, because let's face it, people aren't washing their hands when they're dipping their shit in there.
No
by shit, I mean their fingers. They're gross little digits, sticking them in there, getting their chocolate covered marshmallows or whatever. Just disgusting. Anyway, yeah, it's like you see it, you're like, wow, that's a really wild thing that the Earth is basically like, hey, this is what exists under your feet all the time, and we found a little nook that we can spray this out of and enjoy it. Enjoy the show. And you're like, that's really hot stuff, you know?
It makes me think too, like the people, like when you're in a natural disaster situation like that, like I think it's the awe-inspiring nature of it. Like you're not around it. So like there's that rumbling. It's like, so why are people walking towards it? Same kind of idea. Like if you're in like a tsunami or like where the water gets sucked back and you see the people like following it, like walking, like what's going on? Like, wow.
Like, whoa, check it out, man. This? I can walk where the water used to be.
The fucking second that water starts to go back, you go the opposite fucking way.
You're like, oh yeah, that's right.
Watch it on news coverage later. You don't have to be live and in person there.
No,
it's just
no.
Yeah, I don't, and I always wonder, like, would I have the wherewithal to be like, fuck, I know what this is. I'm as quick as I can the other way, or would I get sucked into?
I've seen this movie.
I know how this plays out.
I know this fucking movie right here, bro.
Do you think you'd have the wherewithal to turn it around and run?
I think I would be like, I don't know, Practical Doug would take over and be like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like this, you don't need to, I don't need to see this.
Right.
Like, listen, am I curious at nature and just being able to look at that and be like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's a beautiful thing. Like when you see the solar eclipse, you're like, wow, this is insane. Like you have that moment of like, wow, we don't mean shit in this universe.
Right.
Like we are nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And it always gets me thinking, like, imagine, you know, people before they understood science are like, gods are angry with us right now. They're so mad. They're turning everything dark in the middle of the day.
We did something to piss them off, Kevin.
You know, it's just, you're just like, oh my God, this is a terrible idea. I don't know why we're doing this. You know, but I would like to think that in a situation like that, if I was, I'm like, hey guys, there's an active volcano and it's rumbling. I'm like, I don't think we need to get closer because literally that guy who was talking about how surviving that, he goes, if we had waited 10 seconds, we would have been dead. That's because insane. Of where we were distance from it. And because we acted when we did, that's the only reason why we're alive today. That's the only reason why. And he has video footage of like, it seriously looked like something out of a Tom Cruise film where he's running and there's just fucking smoke coming. And they were just like, go. And they did. And you're like, holy shit, that's insane. That thing moves so fucking fast. It's crazy. And if you caught it, just fucking dead. Just done. I'm like, wow.
Fucking nuts, dude. I gotta ask, what was Natalie's justification between tornado versus volcano?
She's like, tornado, she goes, we can get cover. You know, and basically we can protect ourselves. She goes, if it's a volcano, she's like, what are you going to do? Like the only thing you can do is just pack up your stuff and go, basically was her thing. I go, pros and cons. Tornadoes more frequent. Volcanoes not as frequent, but when volcanoes happen, it's your life is changing.
Yeah. It's a little bit more permanent. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause if you get out, your home's probably gone. So
that's a look, I got to give it, kid. That's a solid argument.
Hey, Practical Doug approves this message.
Absolutely. Practical Natalie is being forged in the fires of the logic.
Yeah, I'm here for it. So, yeah. Speaking of Natalie, I want to talk about a milestone that she just achieved. That just happened a couple days ago. So we're on spring break right now. Natalie's on spring break, so I'm on spring break. That's how I do it.
You kept saying it, and I'm like, did you get time off work?
I did. I took time off because Natalie's. She has a whole week off. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Work while she's at home? That sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Right.
So I'm like, no, I'll just take the time off. And so we're just like hanging out, whatever. So my good buddy, shout out to Casey. He was like, hey, the girls, would love it if Natalie could come over. I'm like, oh, sweet. Yeah. He's like, cause I also said like, hey man, we should hang out. We haven't hung out in a while. And he's like a board game he's the board game king. He has so many board games and stuff like that. And so whenever I go to his house, I play a completely different game that I've never played before.
That's awesome.
It's always just an experience. So I'm like, shit, yeah, the girls can play and we'll come hang out. So we hung out for several hours. I mean, we got there like 12:30 and it was like 3.5 hours later. At one point, his daughter goes, hey, can Natalie spend the night? He and I are both kind of like eyeing each other like, you cool with this? Are you cool with this? Like, we're just trying to like read each other. And I was like, yeah, Dad. Yeah. I was like, Natalie's never been to a sleepover before.
She's never had a sleepover?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I see where this is going now. Okay.
Hasn't had one yet. And I was like, I'm okay with it. Like, I was like, you are a cool person. You're a responsible person. Your wife's a cool, responsible person. Your kids are cool.
Yeah.
You don't have anything dangerous here. Like,
I feel comfortable with everything I've
you.
taken in. Yeah.
I was like, this is the optimal setting for this to happen. So I was just like, so they kept asking and then they'd ask later. And he's like, by the way, I'm cool with it if you're cool with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to impose. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is completely impromptu, unplanned.
Right.
Like, I don't want to impose on you guys if you have anything going on. And he goes, I should probably check. He's like, I got to check with your mom. She's like, why? He goes, because we're partners. And I don't make unilateral decisions. I got to check with her and make sure it's cool with her.
I fucking love it. He's right in line with like the logic that we employ in this show. I was
like, I got to check with my partner too. So like, I called Jill and I was like, hey, so this is the situation. And she's like, yeah, I think I'm okay with it. She started getting like a little like, does she know what she's signing up for? Like, does she know like what's involved here? Because she's never done this before. And I was like, we
haven't done the PowerPoint demonstration or explanation of what a sleepover is. We've never taken her through it.
So I was like, Jill's like, I'm cool with it. And Casey's like, all right, we're cool with it. I'm like, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. Like, we came up with a plan and I go, hey, Natalie, come here. She's like, what's up? I go, Casey goes, no, you can't do it. She goes, what? I go, we're just kidding. He's like, yeah, we can do it. And she's like, yay! I was like, all right, we got to go home. We got to get some stuff. We got, whatever. So we're getting in the car. She goes outside. She's like, I'm having my first sleepover. Just shouting it out to the world. Gets in the car and everything like that. We're driving home. And I was like, all right, okay, let's talk about etiquette. Number one thing. There's a lot of things we do around the house that we're okay with that the rest of the world is not. We are not going to do the following things. I started listing some things that I'm just like, yeah, all right. We're going to be, we're going to be better at this, better at this, better at this, better at this. Understood? Because the reason why Mom might tell you this is because if you're gross and weird, people will not invite you back. All right. If you want to get invited back, don't be gross and weird. Okay. Like,
I want to tangent on this real quick. If you're not comfortable with it, I will be asking you off.
I'm already going to tell you no. I'm not going to tell you what those things are.
I'll ask you off mic.
We're working on them. We're working on them. But that halfway back to our house, she goes, "Oh, this is so cool. So, are you excited to sleep over?" And I stop and I go,
no.
I go, you think I'm staying? She goes, yeah. I go, Natalie, no, that's not what a sleepover is. I go, I'm going to drop you off and I'm going to leave you there and I'm going to go back home. And then all of a sudden she got real nervous. The tenor changed. She was just like, I go, no, sleepover is you go and stay at someone else's house. Like Mom and I aren't staying there.
You and Casey were having a good time too.
I was like, yeah, I'm not going to sleep at their house. That's not how this works. And she's like, all of a sudden she got really nervous.
Sure.
We got home and she was like nervously packing things. And then she started like tearing up a little bit. Oh. But what I loved about it was she goes, it's okay. This is just new. This is just a new thing. I've never done it before. And I'm a little scared. I'm like, and that's cool. That's all right. That's okay. It's totally okay to be scared. I go, but let's think about who you got there. I go, you got Casey. You got his wife. You got Lily. You got her daughter, like, you got all this, her sister, you got all this cool stuff. I go, we're also 5 minutes away. Like, if you need anything, Casey can call me.
Right.
We'll be there, whatever you need, and everything like that. And so she was like, the rest of the like prepping everything. And when she got there, she was like, kind of like, really nervous and stuff like that. But I was like, you're in good hands. And Casey's like, hey, you need anything, you let me know. I'll call your dad. No problem, no matter what. So, and then I left. I dropped her off. Didn't hear a peep.
Had the
I was like,
time of her life. I'm sure. Yeah.
I'll pick her up around 10. I show up around 10 the next day. She's having a fucking blast. Like, just
love it.
Absolutely. Just had so much fun. And I was like,
yes.
Yeah. So I was like,
it makes me happy to hear that. Like those were such fond memories when
Right.
I was younger. Like this, when you got a sleepover organized and it happened, man, that was something else. That's
It was
so cool.
special. It was really
was.
special. Because she was asking, she's like, so did you ever have sleepovers? I go, oh yeah. I would do with my buddy Colby. I was like, I go to his house. We'd play video games.
Yeah.
We watch movies. She goes, did you have treats? I go, of course we had treats. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I was like, we stayed up, probably too late. Like we had a good time. It was great.
Yeah.
I loved him. Like it was one of my favorite things was doing stuff like that. So, but that's like, she never really slept away from us before.
Sure, yeah.
Without us. And that was Jill's biggest thing. And she's like, it's when she goes to bed when it's going to be a problem. I think is she'll get really,
because she's got that
like,
routine she likes probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently like she slept like a boss.
Fucking hey, man, that's awesome.
So
That is
I really celebrated when she got home. I was like, really good job doing that, you know?
So if she's never had one, this is what always fascinates me. If she's never had a sleepover before, how was she aware of them? Like through media, she's seen them on TV shows, people talking about them. Like how does that come about in someone's world?
It's a combination of those things. She's heard people talking about it because like she's asked about this like years ago. She's like, do you think so-and-so and I could have a sleepover? I'm like, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Like not now.
Right.
I was like, A, I don't know that kid. B, I don't know their parents. So
Haven't
like
vetted them properly.
I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I was like, I'd prefer to know the kid if they're going to stay with us.
Yeah.
You know? And also like, I don't know them enough to send you over there, you know?
Yeah.
So, so she's seen it through like, TV shows and stuff like that. too.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
The idea of what this stuff is. So, she'd always talked about it. And so now that it happened, I was just happy because first of all, it was impromptu, completely unplanned.
Yeah.
And just like, can we do this? And I was like,
Sounds
this
fun,
is the time to do it. It's spring break. Fuck yeah. I don't give a shit. And it was kind of weird. Jill and I like having a night to ourselves without Natalie
sure,
there.
yeah.
I was like,
I'm sure.
you want to watch a movie? We watched Top Gun
Uninterrupted.
Maverick. She hadn't seen it. And I was like, let's watch this. This will be fun.
Yeah.
It was great. It was good. I was just really proud of her because she took that step to do something that was uncomfortable, but she knew was going to be fun. And I was like, good job.
I've said this to you before, but like the child that you are, kudos to both of you for being amazing parents and for raising an incredible young lady, because at 9 years old to have the wherewithal, the emotional intelligence to stop and go, this is just new. It's okay. That at 41 years old, I don't possess that half the time. I
don't
just
either.
I go into a death spiral and I freak the fuck out. And like, it either ends in anger or me being very depressed. And so like, it's incredible that she has that fucking in her tool belt right now.
I played it
amazing.
off cool. I was like, you're right. And inside I was like, fuck yeah. What a great realization that you have. They're like, this is something new and that's making me scared. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're better than I am.
A well-adjusted individual. My God.
You're like, way to go, smarty pants. So yeah,
Stunning.
shout out to Natalie, new milestone.
Woo
Did her
woo.
first sleepover and it was successful.
Absolutely. That's incredible.
I told Casey too, I go, hey, couldn't have asked for a better family for her to have this with. So I was like, thank you for making this a fun experience for her. I
think
super
that's
cool.
the clutch piece of this too. That's the key element is that like you had someone that you vibe with so well, who you've gotten to spend time there. They've spent time with you. Like, their house is cool. They're cool. It's that when you're like, they come home and they're like, hey, I made a new friend. We're going to have a sleepover. And you're like, this could go one of two ways. And
his parenting style is very aligned with ours too.
Yeah.
Like, he has no problem telling someone else's kids like, hey, don't do that. That's dangerous. And I was like, I'm here right there with you, buddy. Like,
absolutely,
we're aligned on how to handle these situations.
So he gave you
and the moments he steps in are the moments I was about to step in. So I'm like, we're 100% aligned. So this is going to work.
Gave you and Jill peace of mind. And it's just, that's amazing. Congratulations.
I wasn't worried at all.
Yeah.
I had zero worries.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I think if she has any problems, I'm not worried because I know Casey will reach out to us and it'll be fine. So it'll be totally cool.
Yeah.
So
if he can't manage it to start with, like it's that, it's one of those things where you're like, if he has any problems, she has any problems, first and foremost, all the faith in the world that Casey could potentially manage the problem. And then if not, I'll get a phone call. Like it's that, that's that double layer of security that you're feeling.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Boop, 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 boop.
Did you guys, when you and Jill, had your movie night, did you watch Top Gun Maverick or did you watch something else like Back to the Future?
We did not watch Back to the Future, although I did run Jill through several of the previous Can You Guess These movie audio clips.
Oh,
and she did surprisingly well. One of which she got was the classic one that I think I still have. Yeah.
Manure! I hate manure!
Yeah, I played that one. She goes, Back to the Future. I go, She goes, it's Back to the Future. I go, She goes, what is it, like the second one or something? I go, yeah. She goes, well, that's all you're going to get from me. That's as good as you're going to get, because I know it's from that franchise. I'm not going to name the specific one. I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry. My bad. I stepped out of line. That was my fault. That was my bad. My bad.
And then the rest of the night was just horrible. We really fucked that one up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, speaking of great transition, I found this really fun. Sometimes when it comes to like fan theories, they can be really fun or they can be really stupid.
Right.
And sometimes they're fun to explore on either way, but I like ones that have some little, I know it's completely unintended, but there's like a seed of like, ooh, what if that was true?
Right.
It's really fun to kind of like follow that thread. And there's two that I found recently about Back to the Future that I found to be very interesting. They're a little dark,
which
also
I like.
I
always thought that franchise could stand to get a little darker.
I don't know, man. I think the second one's pretty fucking dark. When you go to that alternate 1985, I'm like, yeesh, that's pretty dark, man.
That's just 1985 as far as I'm concerned.
That's just 1985. I'm concerned. But the one of them here is that Marty dies multiple times in the movies.
Yes.
Particularly referring to Back to the Future 2, when they say specifically that he died twice in Back to the Future 2. One being when he confronts Biff, his stepdad, at the top of Biff Tower, the casino, and in the movie he like steps up to the ledge of the building and he jumps off, and Biff thinks he's committed suicide, but he lands on the DeLorean, hits him with the DeLorean, and then like gets out of there.
Right.
The other one being the tunnel scene when he goes back to 1955 and Biff, he's on his hoverboard and Biff is going to try and run him into a car at the end of a tunnel. He's trying to like get his hoverboard going, but he doesn't go that fast. And the last second, a flag comes down, like a little string of flags, and then Marty grabs it and Doc pulls him out, and then like Biff runs in, and we have that sound bite that I just played that comes from that moment.
Bingo bong.
So this theory posits that the only way that Doc Brown would know to be there at that specific time to help Marty would be if he witnessed Marty dying,
right,
and therefore went back in time to try and save him from dying in those moments. Which I was like, granted, obviously we watch this like, oh, that's just movies, right? Of course they're going to be there at the right time.
Save the cat. The hero's there, yeah.
But when a movie that deals with time travel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. What we know of time travel now to be true. Thank you, Christopher Nolan.
Yes. Thank you, Tenet. But also, because it does, there's a flaw in that, right? Because, no, there wasn't. No, I was like, because like the DeLorean couldn't go back in time all willy-nilly, but they were going back to get the almanac, so they could go whenever they wanted.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Yeah. So they weren't limited. It's the first movie when he goes back to the past and he has to like hit the lightning on the DeLorean to get him back to the future. But when Back to the Future 2, the flying DeLorean can go whenever they want. So anyway, I retract my statement.
Because he changed the fuel source.
That's right. Smartly. So it's not plutonium.
Right. Right.
So interesting thoughts of what do you think about that theory?
I love the theory first and foremost because yes, you're right. Like in a feel good 80s movie, yeah, they're just in the nick of time. Someone's going to show up and they're going to save Hero's going to save Hero, and they're going to ride off into the sunset. But it makes a lot of sense that Doc has witnessed Marty tragically ending and been like, okay, I need to make sure that the DeLorean is over this building, and then he gets the time wrong. He's like, okay.
And he watches Marty plummet to his death.
Plummet to his death. He's like, okay, so not only do I need to get the DeLorean up there, has to be at sinking my watch this time. Okay. And then he's one floor too low, and Marty breaks his legs and falls off the DeLorean and then dies again. He's like, okay, one floor up from here. And like, I just like the idea Doc is just, it's a very, like, it's a very Rick and Morty style of like, we'll get it this time. Don't worry, Marty. We'll get it.
Well, that also makes me think, because in this realm of time travel, multiple Martys, multiple Docs can exist at the same time, right?
As we've seen.
So the question begs, how many bodies of Marty did he bury? Because, you know, you just can't leave that body laying there on the pavement, right? Like,
right.
Like, and how does he?
It's like The Prestige. He's just got a whole row of just, yeah.
You go to the cemetery, there's like one mass grave of
Right.
Marty's, you know?
It just says Marty.
Yeah. And, you know,
how many
him trying
times
to get
did it
that
take
right?
to get him right? Yeah.
Yeah. And also, what would be really fun is like, what toll does that take on Doc? You know what I mean? Him trying to do this. It also shows how much he cares about Marty. He's like, I have to try. It also would be the exact reason why at the end of like Back to the Future 3, he's like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore.
Just gonna hang back here. Yeah.
I'm getting on this train.
Yep.
With my new wife and kids, the kid who's like pointing at his dick, you know, like, hey, zoom in on this, director. He's like, we're going to do on our own weird adventures, but yeah, we're in control of this. No one else is. I can't handle this anymore. So, but I find that stuff fascinating because obviously it's not what's intended, but you can also analyze it to the point where you're like, wait a minute, this could be interesting.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the, again, like I think logically to me, now I know we're applying logic to a time travel movie, but logically that does make sense that, you know, again, if you're not accidentally in the right place at the right time, literally the right time, like Marty is going to die. Those are impossible to survive situations. Biff is going to shoot him or he's going to fall off of that roof. And so the odds that you nailed it the first time, no. So yeah, I'm 100% convinced there's a mass, a giant grave with multiple Martys in it.
And the other theory is darker because it paints Doc Brown in a different light. But the theory goes, and I'll just read this. The theory goes like this. Because Doc warned against Marty ever meeting his future or past self, Doc would have taken precautions against the original Marty meeting an alternate version of himself who also went back to 1955. So this is referring to the first Back to the Future movie. If they went back to the same time and place, they could have run into each other. So to prevent this potentially dangerous paradox from happening, Doc supposedly rigged the second DeLorean, the one Marty watches from a distance at the end of Back to the Future, to either be destroyed or go to a time where Marty could never find a way back. Essentially, according to this fan theory, Doc knowingly and intentionally kills the second version of 1985 Marty so that the first version of Marty can come back to 1985 without running into his other self. So the way that this is helped along is that Doc knew because Marty wrote a letter warning him that he'd be shot in 1985, so he put on a bulletproof vest to save his own life. Maybe he also knew that Marty would come back from 1955 early and took precautions with alternate Marty as well. After all, if Marty hadn't reprogrammed the DeLorean in 1955, he would have simply arrived back in 1985 at the same moment he left in the first place, thus preventing the paradox of the two Martys.
Right.
So I find that one particularly interesting as well.
I like this even more because it is hauntingly sad because like new Marty did not ask for this life.
Right.
Like this is so you wake up, your parents are rich, you got a nice new truck. Biff is your bitch at this point.
Yeah.
You know, he's washing for your girlfriend's there. Like she's gorgeous and you're having everything's great. You know, presumably you had everything handed to you your whole, like you wake up and you're like, oh, my life's great. And then this fucking crazy scientist puts you in a time travel device just to go be killed. Like that's
also
horrible.
This makes a pretty big assumption that Marty's a cool kid. Because I'd argue that affluenza probably turned him to an asshole.
Fully agree.
You know what I mean?
Fully agree.
Because he has his parents.
You don't know if he's nice.
His parents are just like, oh yes, look at me now. I'm all glad. My book is here, and his
tennis and
his brother's like trading stocks and shit like that. Like, you know, also the fact that they're still living in that house, absurd. They would not be living in that
No,
house. Like,
hard not. Yeah.
But they're just like, life is great now. Piff, don't lie to me now. Don't pull one up on you. Did you put on the second coat? You're right, sir. I'll put it on. Hey, Marty. Like to assume that Marty is also just the same person.
Yeah.
We've seen that's not the case. We've
Yeah.
absolutely seen that's not the case. So
I would love it. How cool would it be though? Like if you want to take this and kind of like reboot this movie, how cool would it be to do that? But like, so the new Marty then starts to get whispers of the old Marty's life, like little flashes of like, a callback to like, wait a second. It's like a quick flash. Like it's so real. This vivid memory of Biff berating my dad and we're in a shitty house or whatever. I think like you could take the movie and spin it in a very dark way.
You basically could basically what this movie is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is what this is.
Exactly.
With
a car.
With a car.
Right.
Because really, I mean, also it's pretty haunting to think about, which I just thought about right now. Marty leaves that other reality, right? The one where his parents are like,
Yeah.
Like, so in that reality, that timeline, their kid just disappeared. He's
That's
not there
true.
anymore.
And what does he come back to? Does he change anything in the past and come back to an even more Are they even?
Because are we assuming that? Because again,
dead?
because we can see more than one like existence of someone, then can we say that does that reality cease to exist, or
exactly does it
continue
that loop?
on?
Right. That's the one thing he never answered is like, is it a closed loop where you're just going back and around and this thing is going to keep happening and blah, blah, blah. Is that loop or have you branched off now, and you need Loki to come in and the TVA to prune one of your timelines.
This is how Justin and I started this podcast. We would start with a conversation like this. We'd get out our giant fucking dry erase board and we would be sitting here for the next 3 hours, not doing work, trying to figure out.
And when we say
what we thought,
giant erase board, this thing was this was a nerd's wet
dream. It was an entire office wall.
It was humongous. I'm not lying when I say this thing had to have been 6 to 7 feet long.
Of course, it was probably bigger than that. I remember my memory's faded, but it's bigger. It was more than that. But
it was huge. Yeah,
yeah. It was insane.
So we had this thing. We filled it with branches and if thens, and here's the point of origin, and it was great.
If we found this article back then, we would 100% be having this exact same conversation.
Absolutely.
What is what? But what's really interesting about this theory is it got so prevalent that Christopher Lloyd, the actor who plays Doc Brown, had to come out and say, no, this is not true. He said, specifically quoted, well, you never want to meet yourself in another time because then the space-time continuum, something will go wrong and the entire universe will collapse. I mean, that's obvious, but Doc would never send Marty off to his death in any kind of scenario. Doc couldn't live with that. Which makes the previous theory even more true that he couldn't let Marty go. So he maybe try to bend the rules to try to save Marty. And this one, but he's saving a Marty by killing one. You know what I mean?
Right. Which is
it's
some sort of a
equivalent
paradox.
Exchange. Right. The sheets have been balanced, baby. Debits and credits.
But it is interesting that if he hadn't gone back 10 minutes, what would that close? Because then I think it would be a closed loop. I think that in and of itself answers the question. This is a new timeline. It has to be a new timeline because he didn't come back at the point of origin. So it's not a closed loop thing that you're just continuing to do. You have branched off and created a different version now.
Well, not that. It's like you now have Marty who's living in a different reality.
And he's got to, you got to hope that all those memories and everything were roughly the same up to that point.
Well, it's wild because, again, it's like he just goes to the house, everything is as it was. His room is the exact same spot. For some reason, his brother is everything. Again, it's a fun movie, right? People are like, hey, nerds, quit fucking just, drooling over this shit.
Yeah.
But this is what makes it fun. It's like, that's what's upsetting about this movie too, which I think we've talked about a little bit, is that the end of this movie is like, this is a good ending because his family's rich now. He's wealthy now.
Right.
So now things are good. They're happy.
Right.
That's what makes this a good movie.
It's the 80s, man. It was the decade of excess.
Yeah.
It was wealth and cocaine and it was having a good time.
Right. It was, so it's like, that's actually a haunting ending where he's like, cool, I got everything that I wanted, which is now I have my new truck, that I can go to the lake now. And it's like, it assumes that all these other things are the same, but just like we talked about, if you have a life of wealth, I'm not saying he would be an asshole. I was being smart. Maybe he would, but he wouldn't be the exact same Marty.
He might not be with the same girl.
Right. The idea that his exact same girlfriend's like, oh, hey, Marty. I'm like, I mean, it's fun. It's a movie. Don't overthink it. But I'm like, I don't know, man.
Did he go to the same school? Maybe he traveled a little bit when he was a little bit younger.
To assume they would still be living there.
Absolutely.
I mean, exactly. What if they moved to another country or some shit like that? He'd be like, where am I? Like,
oh, geez, Doc.
Oh, geez, Doc. You can tell Rick and Morty was very heavily, influenced by this, which is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love a good movie theory. I think I would love to, moving forward, find some more of these and continue to tug at these threads. Because we talked about this when Luke Knoll was on. We did actual theories or
we did conspiracy theories.
Yeah, conspiracy theories.
Which were also fun.
Good movie
that's
theories.
Not fun anymore. That's just weird shit that people actually believe.
It's gotten, that episode aged poorly. But I would love
I think it was prophetic, if you ask me.
You think we were a little Nostradamus-y there?
We basically were describing QAnon at the time,
Yeah, exactly. Before if we only knew then what we knew now. Innocent, naive us.
Yeah.
But I'd love to find some more of these and start pulling at these things.
Absolutely. And if you have any suggestions
of
fun stuff that you have found that you want us to discuss, please send it our way. Link in the description to our Discord, or hit us up at email mindgappodcast@gmail.com. We love this shit. So send us our way if you have a good theory that you either have crafted yourself or that you have a link to. We'd love to explore it. I love this shit. Even if it's a bad one, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
We'll tease it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll see what we like and don't like about it. Yeah. The things I like are games. Justin, you ready for a game?
Let's fucking do it.
Let's fucking do it, baby. We're back at it again. It's the Guess the Movie game based on the audio clip. Justin, I got 3 clips for you. Justin will listen to these one at a time, and he'll have to tell me what movie they're from. Fair warning, one of these is kind of a sound effect.
No! These always trip me up.
Hope you brought your big boy pants.
I wore the brown pants.
Okay, so one of these, don't know if you've seen. It's highly likely you have, but I don't have full confirmation.
Okay.
The other two, I'm pretty confident on one, and another one you've definitely seen. So
okay. All right.
One for sure. One confident. One I don't know. Could be not. I don't know. We'll see. Are you ready?
I am fucking ready.
Here we go.
Big military train derailed, and this whole area is in danger of being contaminated by a huge cloud of shit. A huge cloud of shit. Wow. God, I think I smell it. Come on, let's go.
Amazing. That first voice is Woody Harrelson.
Correct.
Without a doubt. It's very hard to mistake his voice. Second voice, when he first said something, I thought it sounded like Will Ferrell, but I don't think they've ever started something together.
It's not Will Ferrell.
Is it Randy Quaid by chance?
It is Randy Quaid.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. It's all right. I was like, it had a little Quaid in there. Now, the question is, what fucking movie? Oh, wait, was that Kingpin?
It is Kingpin. Yes.
I'm like, what movie were they in together? I can't figure. Here's the thing. I have not seen that movie.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. There's a couple of lines that have stuck with me over the years. That was one of my favorite ones. The basis of that movie is that Woody Harrelson's just was an amazing bowler, was going to be great, but then he messed with the wrong people for a con, and he got his arm basically cut off, and so he's now become a hustler. And he finds this Amish guy played by Randy Quaid who can really bowl really well.
Yeah.
But he's trying to train him and take him on the road and get him to do some stuff. But he's also incredibly naive and believes everything.
Love it.
And there's some really great moments in that movie where and that's one of them where he's trying to get him out of there because there's another woman that gets involved with them. And he's trying to sneak away so they don't have to pay her anything.
Yeah.
To be part of their little gang. And he's like, we got to get out of here because there's a military installation and there's a giant cloud of, and he sees her in the car and he goes, shit. Randy Quaid's reaction whoa, huge cloud of shit. Oh man, I think I can smell it. Let's go.
Such great deliveries by those.
And there's a moment later where there's some people walking by. He's like, lady, get out of here. There's a big cloud of shit coming.
That again, a movie that I have no qualms about seeing. Like I didn't skip it for any particular reason. It just was one that never, for whatever reason, it just never happened for me.
I think it was directed by the same guys that did Dumb and Dumber, so it's got that vibe to it.
Not. Oh my god. Why
Farrell
am I
brothers?
blanking? The Farrelly brothers. Yes.
Farrelly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good job, Justin. You piece it together without having to see the film. That's the best when you can do that.
Feels good. All right.
All right, here we go. Number 2.
It's been an election year. You've seen plenty of my picture. You know who I am and what I can do. I'm doing you, Hardigan. Cold and hard, I'm doing you.
Love that guy.
Is it cold and hard? I'm doing you.
Yeah.
Give it to me one more time. I gotta hear the nuance of this performance.
I gotta do this.
It's been an election year. You've seen plenty of my picture. You know who I am and what I can do. I'm doing you, Hardigan. Cold and hard, I'm doing you.
I'm doing you, Hardigan. Cold and
I
hard,
realize
I'm
now,
doing
again,
you.
out of context, that sounds insane.
It very
But
much does. Yeah.
In context with what I know, I'm like,
So there, I hear a respirator in there.
that's correct.
Okay. Is it Batman or Robin? Is it Mr. Freeze?
Boy, I wish that guy played Mr. Freeze. Holy shit.
No. Was it Mr. Freeze? Like, is he on a respirator because he can't breathe because it's too hot out? I don't know.
No.
Fuck, man. Okay, I can't place the actor. Is the thing.
I don't know if I know him.
I feel like he's one of those guys that if I saw his face, I'd be like, "Oh, that guy." Like, is he that guy actor?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
he's not. I think he passed away. But he's been like
He's got a great fucking voice though.
His
Man.
voice is
Jesus, got a great voice.
top notch. Like he is just And as he aged, he's just like gets so much more gravelly. I fucking love it. He's the best.
90s?
No.
More recent.
More recent.
Interesting. Okay.
2005 is when this film came out.
05. Okay. Is it Boiler Room?
It's not Boiler
I
Room.
think that was 06.
When did Boiler Room come out? I gotta know now.
Tell me.
2000s, the Boiler Room came out.
Oh, okay. Very, very wrong. Boy. Man, I don't know. This one I don't think I'm gonna get. Is there any clues that you think would get me closer?
I mean, I could tell you.
Hardigan. He's talking to someone named Hardigan.
That's right.
Hardigan.
This movie has a massive collection of actors.
Right. Love Actually.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope.
The remake, Valentine's Day.
No.
Avengers.
Is that famous line?
You know that famous line?
That famous line
Fucking you hard.
where Bruce Banner goes, "Cold and hard again. I'm doing you."
So there's an election. You've seen a lot of my.
It's
face.
not
There's
about
someone
the
running.
election. It's not about the election. It's
Oh, okay.
more about who this person is and the power that they wield in this particular scene.
Was there a movie called American Gangster?
There was,
But it's not that
starring
one.
Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
This is not it.
Okay. I don't know when that came out. So,
Also,
But
a great movie.
but I could see that being, a line from that movie. I don't know, man. I'm getting.
It's all right. It's
gassing
cool.
on
It's
this
cool.
one.
This is a very specific scene from this movie.
Okay.
But that line always stuck with me, which is why I pulled it, because it's like so sinister
Yeah.
and upsetting to be like, I'm doing you cold and hard. I'm doing you. This is from Sin City.
Oh, I have absolutely seen this film.
So this is
yeah.
after basically what this scene is after Bruce Willis's character has screwed over Senator Rourke's legacy. He basically shot off his son's dick. He basically is describing everything he's going to do to make his life miserable. including
Okay.
like basically you're going to be convicted of being like, a pedophile, and you're going to go to jail. And if you speak anything of this, then we're going to do all these sorts of things. And it's just a really cool scene. But I just love the whole like cold and hard. I'm doing you.
Was that Michael Clark Duncan?
It's not Michael Clark Duncan. It was Powers Booth.
I don't see him on this list here.
Yep. He doesn't play a huge role in the film.
Okay. He's not. Yeah. If you just Google the cast, I'm not seeing him on there. So that's why I was like, that doesn't sound.
Yeah.
Powers
He was just a
Booth.
very small role in the film, but he's done a lot of stuff. He was in Deadwood. He was in Tombstone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is. Okay. Wow. I couldn't. Yeah. There's just a wall of people. Powers Booth. Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely. Yeah. He is one of those. That guy. Yeah.
That dude has a hell of a voice. Like, he's also does a really good job of playing just
Fuck yeah.
being intimidating and shit like that. It's pretty awesome.
If you look at his things, it's all action 80s. Like he had a lane that he lived in for sure.
And he was really good at what he did.
Awesome. Sin City. Wow. Yeah. That not one that I love the movie. Not one that really sticks in my head for some reason.
There's a lot of lines in it that like are very unique to me that like stuck out. Obviously that was one of them. But, anyway, good job, Justin. You tried. You gave an effort.
Yes.
All right. Last one. This one's the sound effect.
See if I can redeem myself here.
All right. Here we go. Let's see if you can tell. Tell me what movie this sound effect comes from. Justin's face.
I know it.
He knows it. He knows it. He knows it.
Oh my God. What?
This is one of the coolest sound effects.
Yes, it is.
In context of the film.
Oh my God.
I'm going to play it again to torture you.
Oh man. Oh, I'm so upset by this.
I was like, you're going to be real pissed if you don't figure this out.
I'm so upset by this because it's so again, we talk about like the bullet time scene in the Matrix and all like the ones like people listening online, I know it right away. Like on the hot seat, I know that sound, but my mind is awash of just like every film that had this like every fucking oh man. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna work my way through this. I'm gonna work my way through this one. That's usually it's symbolizing something's coming, right?
Yeah, you're on the right track. Yeah.
It's a sci-fi movie, right? Would you consider it sci-fi?
I don't know. Sure-ish.
Okay. Play it again.
Okay, here we go.
The thing is, I feel like I just watched this movie.
Whenever this is played, it acknowledges that a particular character is on screen. Hans Zimmer did something similar with the Joker.
Yeah.
In The Dark Knight, where there was definitely some audio cues from the soundtrack that let you know that like Joker's here. This is a similar thing.
Is this a Nolan film or not?
It's not a Nolan film.
Okay. If you give me the director, will it give it away?
There are 3 directors: Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rothman.
3?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that until right now.
Man, who greenlit that? That's actually anti-helpful. Like that's more confusing than anything.
I am actually angry now.
I'm angry now. I refuse the game. What can you give me a year?
2018.
Oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with me?
There's nothing wrong with you.
Oh, there's so much, Doug.
There's
nothing in regards to this. Oh, there's a lot wrong with me.
No,
me. My therapist would say otherwise.
This signifies a villain is approaching to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, I thought it signified hope.
Yeah, I feel better now.
Yeah, that signifies hope. Is oh fuck you, Cochran. Oh man, is it a military movie?
Nope.
Okay, I don't know. I'm. This is insane. My mind is fucking blank right now. Can you give me one of the people who starred in it?
Chris Pine.
2018 Chris Pine. Is it? It's not a Star Trek movie, is it?
Nope.
Okay, I was gonna say that's straight up. That is sci-fi. So That answer would have been
Chris Pine plays a minor character in this film.
plays a minor character. Okay. All right. I'm giving up. I gotta hang up the top. This is not engaging podcast.
What, listening to
content.
silence as Justin figures this
Just
out?
me sitting in silence and agonizing.
This movie
Did
also...
you just say it?
No.
Okay, I didn't hear what you said. Give me one more person who was in it. Let's see how many. Go backwards through the list from Pine up, and let's see what billing it takes me to get this fucking.
All right,
film.
I like this.
Yeah.
Liev Schreiber.
Chris Pine and Liev Schreiber. Oh, Spotlight.
Nope.
About
Chris
the
Pine was
Catholic
not in
Church.
that one. Catherine Hahn.
This is a bad idea.
This next one. Here you go. You ready?
Sure.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. 2018?
Mm-hmm.
What film was he in 2018? The Weatherman? No, that was earlier. The Rock Part 2, straight to DVD. What is wrong with me?
This one's gonna get you. Here you go. Kimiko Glenn.
Who?
John Mulaney. This has got to be your worst nightmare. Zoe Kravitz. Nothing would make me happier if I was making all of this up. I just pulled a random thing that wasn't even from a movie, just started naming people, and you're just like, what the fuck? Yep.
I don't know what movie John Mulaney was in.
Lily Tomlin.
This is getting worse. Well, I'm so confused now. Oh, dude, this is. I really hope I get raked online, raked across the coals for this one.
Brian Tyree Henry.
I'm still hung up on John Mulaney.
Mahershala Ali.
Oh my god.
Okay, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld.
I give up. I'm done.
Jake Johnson.
Jake Jet. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh fuck you. Yep. I wasn't even thinking animated. God damn it. God damn it so hard. God damn it. Spider-Man. Was it Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse. That is the sound of the Prowler.
Yes.
Whenever the Prowler
oh my
is a boot.
god.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Nick Cage. Oh my god. It's so good.
I empathize with you so much
good.
because I know exactly what that's like to be like, you're giving all these things and they don't add up. They don't add up.
Because in my head, it is, we've never done an animated one before. No. So in my head, I'm like, what live action film were all these people?
The thing is, like, if you would have asked if it's animated, I would have told you. You know, I was like, you're like, is it sci-fi? I'm like, no, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more fantasy-ish. I don't know. Kind of sci-fi fantasy, kind of, but I don't know. Like, I wouldn't label that a sci-fi film. But,
oh my god.
Yeah. I was recently watching that. I was like, oh, that's a great one to pull in because that's such a cool sound effect.
It's so recognizable is the thing. Like I know the sound. It's just that was such a impossible task to place. Yeah. Fucking great pull, by the way.
Thank you.
Great pull. Like, because that is one of those like you hear that, you're like, I've heard that sound before.
Yeah, exactly. You immediately were like, I know this, I just don't know where it's from. It's like it's very it's very specific.
It's such an iconic sound. Yeah. So well done.
Yeah. We did it. We got there.
Eventually. I think it might have been. I'm just looking at the clock here. I think we might have spent like 15 minutes on that segment. That was wild.
It was a big one. It was a big one. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
Holy hell in a handbasket. So I'm going to recommend, I didn't put it on the list here, but I'm going to recommend this. I think I recommended it before. It's a show on Netflix called Ripley. And I finally finished it.
Yeah.
It's from last year.
Yeah.
And I had gotten a couple episodes in, and then something pulled my attention, and I put it down for a long time. I really enjoyed the episodes I had gotten through, so I recommended it previously. Just finished it, and I got to say, fucking A, man.
So good.
Andrew Scott, did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I loved The Talented Mr. Ripley. So like when
and
when
I
this
had
came
never
out, I was like,
seen that, so I went back
course
and
you
watched
haven't.
it. Yeah,
Note to self: pull clips from Talented Mr. Ripley.
I had never seen, because when I was younger, it came out, I think
Mhm.
97, 99, something like that. And I was like, this looks boring, because
Yeah.
it's not something in high school that like two high
No.
school guys are gonna be like, oh, I got to go see The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
And that way fell off my radar. So after watching this, I'm like, I got to go back and watch it one. So I watched it. It wasn't bad. It was a good movie.
Mhm.
I far preferred this series. This series was, it was beautifully shot, impeccably acted, wonderfully written. I am such a fiend for Andrew Scott. Anything that he
He's
is
so
in,
good.
I fucking love him. And I would like filmmaking dream would be, I could happily hang it up if I got to direct him in something. My God.
Yeah.
What a
he's so
talent.
good.
What
So
a talent.
good.
So if you've not seen it yet on Netflix, it's Ripley. It follows, it's the story from the novel, The Talented Mr. Ripley, that it's been remade over and over and over again. And I would say that this has to be one of the best versions. I've only seen the 2, but this is an incredible, incredible show. 8 episodes, about an hour a piece. And it's a slow burn in the beginning, but man, once it gets cooking, it's like, there's a few times where I'm like, this is fucking tense.
Yeah.
They really did a good job building this up. So
Yeah.
check it out on Netflix. It's called Ripley. Doug, what do you got?
I recommend this game that I got on a whim. It came out, and the day it came out, they're like, you can have this game for free for 24 hours. I'm like, all right, I'll get it. It's called Party Club. It's basically, if you played Overcooked with Justin, you and I played briefly when I came out to visit you. It's one where we're cooking and trying to.
Yeah, that was so stressful.
Yeah, very stressful. It's very similar to that, except you are playing as animals that are also making drinks for other animals.
Okay.
You're building out your little restaurant there. You have to put the tables, you have to put the equipment and all that sort of stuff. And essentially you have to seat the animals and then serve them. But there's 3 different types of animals. There's the feral animals, there's the neutral animals, and there's like the prey. If you seat the feral animals with the prey, they will fight each other. Okay. And then they will possibly break shit and then they will leave. So you have to be careful and strategic about who sits where. The feral animals, while they fight, pay you more. So it's really fun. You can do couch co-op or you can play online with friends. I played with Natalie. Natalie was going to play a different game. She goes, what's this? I told her, and we ended up playing it for like 3 hours together. It was awesome. It was great. The animals will start throwing up and they have to go shit in the litter box. You have to clean it up and there's other environmental stuff. It's really fun. We had a good time. I recommend, I think it's like $10 on Steam. So great. That's my recommendation if you're looking for something fun to do. So
love that.
Bada bing with a pipe. Gang, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you as always. Please, if you're listening to us, thank you for listening. If you're watching us, or if you didn't know, you can watch us. You can check us out at youtube.com/mindgappodcast. While you're there, drop that like, hit the subscribe button. Simple, free ways of supporting the podcast. You can also check the link in the description to links to our Discord, be part of the Discord family. You can also check out our Patreon and our merch at redbubble.com. Also, those links in our description down below. Do us a solid, share with us. Also, drop a link. Drop a link. Drop a comment in there. Tell us like what you thought about the show. If you figured out what the prowler noise was right away or not, like, let us know. And share us around. It'd mean the world to us. And be sure to check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. While you're in the online realm, anywhere where you can find audio podcasts, you can find us. So go ahead and share, subscribe, rate, review, like, all the things you can do on there. It really means a lot. Download the episodes, save them for later, whatever you need to do. But also sharing, like Doug said, share, let people know we exist. It helps. It goes a long way. And then TwoEastEighth.com, TwoEastEighth on all social media, loveanimprovfilm.com, and loveanimprovfilm on Instagram.
Fantastic. With that, I'll say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Viewers, listeners, thank you. And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.